cheapest places to buy land for less than $1,000 and rent to own. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Rinde from AskRinde, and welcome to the #1 community for real estate income, grants, and credit. So if you'd like to know more about what the cheapest places are to buy land for less than $1,000, rent to own, make sure you watch the video to the end. Leave a comment below if you need help with anything. Land is becoming more valuable. Food prices are going up and are at all-time highs. The cost of living is going up all around the country. Supply chain issues all around the world. And your family's protection and security is very important. So just like with every other type of real estate that I teach here on my channel, land is also available and it's possible to rent to own. And there's different types of land available to acquire. There's agricultural and rural land. There's desert and barren land. There's farmland. There's grove land. There's irrigation land. There's poultry farms. There are ranches. There's ranch land for grazing. And there's also rural land. So in looking at land, you want to make sure that you're looking at the most strategic land for your family and your future. So there are cheap places to be able to acquire land all around the country. We're in the process of buying property and land all around the country in strategic locations. Not only using them to be able to keep in our family for the purposes that I've listed, but also to position ourselves to be able to make more money and utilize the land and make money off the land. In addition to that, these lands can actually be used as collateral and assets to be able to actually leverage against what we're doing in business and our business growth. So whether we're actually looking to get lines of credit and actually expand, we can actually utilize and collateralize these lands in order to perform a greater purpose. So as I've always shared here on my channel with Rent to Own, there are 3 parts. And knowing how to go about the process when you actually approach these owners are very, very key. Going through the process can actually be a big game changer for you because you can actually acquire a lot of these properties in a short period of time. So some of the cheapest places to be able to buy land around the country in or around $1,000 include these following 10 states. Number 1, Texas. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Virginia. Number 4, Maryland. Number 5, Pennsylvania. Number 6, Arkansas. Number 7, Tennessee. Number 8, West Virginia. Number 9, Arizona. And number 10, New Mexico. So we're actually focusing in some of these states in order to be able to acquire for in or around $1,000. So the question is, how do you actually buy cheap land for in or around $1,000 in some of these states? Well, it's very simple. We actually focus on 2 key strategies in actually buying these cheap lands for in or around $1,000. We focus on number 1, probate absentee owners. So these are actually owners who actually live in another state, but they actually have land in one of these states or other states that actually have cheap land. And they're going through a probate process. Maybe the land was left to them in as a part of the family, and they actually cannot or do not want to deal with it anymore. They don't want to actually have to maintain the land or just anything having to do with it, and they're looking to get rid of it. So oftentimes we found some of our best situations and deals and cheapest deals via probate absentee owners. They are actually landowners that are actually not in the state that the property is in, but they just want to get rid of it. They're tired of it, they want to cash out, and they're done. And the second area of focus for buying cheap lands for in or around $1,000 via rent to own in these states is absentee owner tax liens. So these are actually owners that live in another state, but the property actually is racking up tax liens and taxes that are owed on the property in the state that it's in. So obviously this is not a good thing because with land, it's not like a piece of property where you can actually rent it out and get monies coming in. With land, there's no monetization unless you know what you're doing, unless you're versed in knowing how to actually monetize land like we do. So oftentimes these owners are motivated because they have a carrying tax burden and it's recurring. In some cases they owe multiple years. In some cases they owe quarters. And they actually have to come up with the money, otherwise they forfeit the land. So many times they will be open to many scenarios, including rent to own, in order to be able to solve their tax problem. And this is actually one of the best lead sources for us in order to generate and get these leads and get these properties and these lands for in and around $1,000 utilizing our rent to own strategies. So we actually share more with you on not only how to actually acquire regular property via rent to own, but how to actually start to buy land and acquire it for in and around $1,000 utilizing rent to own in our rent to own masterclass. We actually show you how to find rent-to-own properties, including land, and negotiate with the owners. This can be a game changer because you can position yourself to be able to buy multiple pieces of property and acquire multiple pieces of property in a short period of time, especially if you're getting them around the $1,000 mark. You can actually accumulate properties in various states and actually never leave your state because you're doing everything virtually. So we teach you how to do this in our rent-to-own masterclass. Our rent-to-own masterclass is the top masterclass, teaching you how to acquire and buy real estate via rent-to-own for yourself, and also how to actually utilize and use it as an investment tool to grow your real estate portfolio and start to acquire properties, not only in your area, but all around the country. So if you'd like to learn more about how to acquire cheap land via rent-to-own, how to actually master the process, learn how to negotiate, get access to the contract and the forms that you're going to utilize and use for these transactions, make sure you join us for our rent-to-own masterclass by going to my website at AskRinde.com, clicking on rent-to-own, and getting started today. We have students from all around the country winning big and getting properties and expanding themselves, not from just their own properties, but also building out real estate portfolios, utilizing rent-to-own as a strategy to grow their wealth. So we actually look forward to seeing you inside the masterclass, where we share tools, contracts, and also exactly how to go about the process and actually acquiring and starting the journey of building your business up and building your real estate portfolio up using rent-to-own. We also share with you more types of properties that you can utilize and use rent-to-own for. And in these cheap places to buy land for less than $1,000, we also have tools and things that you can actually utilize to put in these states that will really help you draw more business and more land possibilities to you. So if you'd like to learn more about the rent-to-own process, including how to actually get cheap lands for around $1,000, make sure you actually reach out to us so we can actually send you our rent-to-own checklist. It's a free rent-to-own checklist that you'll actually need to follow along to start the process of utilizing rent-to-own to your advantage. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. You can also email me. My email address is AskRindeNetwork@gmail.com. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.